Good evening, good evening.
How are we doing, Dizzy?
I'm not too bad, Craig. It's great to be joined with you in the commentary booth tonight for round 5, Group 2 at Paul Ricard.
Yeah, I am particularly looking forward to this after watching Group 2's race at Brands Hatch last week and seeing how well how good the battles were on such a tight circuit. So having that extra space around here, there should be some cracking battles all through the field. So particularly looking forward to this.
That's what I've been thinking all week with the good battles we had last week with such tiny roads. We've now got a road that's 4 cars wide, and that's going to give plenty of opportunity for people to find and make the space. And to see some of these cars, we saw cars coming down the back straight last night in Group 1 at speeds of way over 280 k's.
Yeah, and with the time multiplier set to what it is tonight, so the temperatures are going to start off cold, they're going to get warm, and the race is going to end just as it's getting dark, as you saw last night. The temperatures are going to drop again, so it's getting the balance right on the tyres was tricky last night. So then they're only going to be a very small window of when they're perfect. They're going to be a bit underinflated, they're going to be overinflated, but it's getting that balance to keep it as sort of neutral as possible all through the race. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going to go on tonight, so it should be very, very good.
If we have anything like a first corner of the group last night, it was definitely spicy last night. A few incidences in the beginning sector, but a lot of cars got through, and we did see Charles lead for most of the race before having a little mistake. Maybe the pressures, like you said, have caught him out as the time's gone on through the day on track.
Yeah, I mean, yes, he was very spicy at the beginning of the race, but as he unravelled, as I watched the replay back today and sat and analysed some stuff that happened last night, there was some great battles going on all through the field, all through the race. Trains of 4 or 5 cars catching up. So that those conditions are going to play a big factor. If people don't get the tyres right, do you want them perfect for the colder stage? Do you want them perfect for the hotter stage? It's so it's quite tactical as well. So there's lots of reasons why there will be very good battles and why people are going to be quick at certain parts of the race and slower at other parts of the race. So yeah, it makes for a very interesting view.
So now we're starting to go green in the qualifying session. We've got Chris Wilson, who's managed to sneak his way out of the pits first, so we'll be seeing the first flying lap from him, and we'll see where the bar gets set for Group 2 tonight.
Yeah, so I mean, the multiplier, the time multiplier is sped up for the qualifying session also, so the temperature will raise up through the qualifying session, although it's only 15 minutes, but it is on a green track as well, so not optimum conditions for the drivers. So I do believe we'll see some quick times set down, but they're not going to be what some of these drivers can achieve. It's going to be more about doing the best you can, and because it's so easy to overdo it just a little bit on a green track, and it's very, although it's got such a wide runoff here, it's so easy to get an off track.
And that is the blue and red stuff, it's like sandpaper. The blue stuff is really fine and the red stuff is really thick. If you lock up off track, you'll flat spot your tyres here so fast.
Yeah.
As we see him coming around the final corner now, he's going to start his first flying lap.
For what is basically a flat track, there are some of those little curbs are quite evil. That inside curb on the inside corner, right on the apex of the last corner, if you clatter over that, as I found out last night, you're going to lose it. So the curbs are quite vicious, especially in the McLaren. As
Keeping it nice and tidy through the first two. It did look bumpy in the McLaren. He's bringing it over to the left-hand side. He'll want to set himself up nicely for the right sweeping hand of the low-speed corner. Get as much speed as he can to join that back straight and really stretch the legs.
You want a good exit onto that straight. You want to be maximising every bit of top end speed you can get before the tricky right-hander at the top, followed by a trickier right-hander. It is a tough part of the section at the end of the straight.
See him now pushing speeds of 270. Going to get to 280 towards where he float off the accelerator and float it around the fast right-hander. Still, 277 is mighty quick. Mighty quick.
His tyres are probably not quite up to pressure yet as well. It's going to take a good couple of laps around here to get them perfect, especially with it being a green track as well. So he'll probably grab at least another 1, maybe 2 kph down that straight on this next one, as long as he gets a good exit.
Threading it through the bendies.
Yes, it's such a multitude of challenges with the corners here. The long sweeping corners and the tight, really tight corners as well, and that massive straight.
It looks like he didn't get a valid lap there. It was a 158, but it must have been invalidated via the first corner. We did see him eat quite a bit of curb. We are going to see Chris Lockhart bring it across and set the bar at a 157.8 to begin with.
Martin Bailey's up into second on a 158.1.
Chris will be happy to be placed so high up there with his first lap. He's going to want to just keep improving on it, chipping away. But Martin Bailey behind him is going purple in the first sector. Comes through and sweeps it in the Ferrari, using all the track you can use.
Yeah, that Ferrari is also very rapid down the long straight as well. Interesting to see what his kph is going to be come the end of the straight. How much wing is he running as well? It's so tempting to run really low wing and maximise the top end speed. 278, 279, 280. It's hitting 280 down the Ferrari. Very quick, very quick.
Absolutely beautiful sounding car as he threads it through that corner. Off throttle, the Ferrari making all the noises of an old Group C car.
So we've got the 2 BMWs popped up into 1 and 2 so just now. So Steve Howes up into pole on 56.9, followed by Neil Mellon with 57.7.
It is getting a little scrappy here at the front. Martin is going to be looking to join that party, and he keeps it nice and tidy. He can find himself maybe towards the top and take it from Steve, BMW.
Yeah, people's tyre pressures are obviously coming up now because there's lots of
he
big
misses
green deltas now.
1/100th of a second.
That's close. That is close.
As we look down the grid, we've got Trevor Evans, who's 4 tenths up as well in the Mercedes. I imagine that is quite a handful through the twisty sections. That big, heavy 6.3 litre V8, trying to get that turned in and get the tyres to comply with you.
A cracking livery, though. Put his L plates on the back as well, liking that. Looks like Super Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Kart on the side.
Difficult to make out. I can see a rabbit and I can see a turtle.
So look, I don't know what that is, but that looks good.
It does look good.
I do.
I think he's going to land himself in 6th with a 58 flat. That was a good lap from him.
It's a good lap, yeah.
Looking down the pack, we have got Paul Murray, who's coming up the back straight, 6 tenths up in the McLaren.
Yes, it's interesting to see this top speed again because these McLarens are rapid down the straight. They're set up properly.
274. So it looks like the Ferraris are a little bit quicker down the back straight today.
Yeah.
Accompanied with maybe a cheeky draft down there. You could really see that Ferrari pushing some ridiculous speeds.
Yeah, it's gonna be the easiest opportunity to overtake during the race as well. You get a nice draft and fly past the other car before the right-hander at the top end.
1.5 seconds up now as he comes into the final two turns. They want to keep it nice and tidy through this tight right-hander. 2 seconds, or bleeding away from him a little bit. Makes the dash for the line. This is going to be a big jump for him.
Yeah,
that takes him up into 6th and knocks Peter Martin and Trevor Evans down.
It's cracking laps of Mr. Corello's Porsche is in 9th place at the moment on a 58.1. We've got Phil Giles in 10th on a 58.1 as well. Not a lot splitting those two.
Up the front we do have Martin Bailey, who's trying to take it back from Steve at the front.
Yeah, currently 3 tenths
three
up.
tenths up at the moment.
He's hammering it down that long straight. The good thing about that long straight though is you've got time to pick up a drink.
Glenn Parkinson just made a good lap. He went from 12th to 8th with a 57.9. So we're seeing the time start to drop down as we get into the deeper stages of qualifying.
Yeah, track's probably just getting a bit more rubbered in now, so they find a little bit more grip.
I do love the sound of the Ferrari.
Yeah, it sounds good on board as well, the way it pops and crackles when you change down gear. It is a cracking sounding car.
Eddie loops it through the right-hander. With all the curb. 2 tenths is going to... 1 tenth
Just lost a little
maybe
bit.
Didn't get the exit he wanted. But it is going to be enough to take that top spot.
Cracking lap from Martin.
Cracking lap. We're going to go on board with Anthony Black as he brings it through towards the middle sector, joining the straight. He's managed to get himself 4 tenths up. Bill Giles, though, he's having a cracking lap, 6 tenths up behind him in the Porsche.
Yeah.
Not
really
quite
pushing.
close enough to get that draft from him, though. Nobody will be particularly keen to give somebody a tow down this back straight in qualifying.
No, not going to be the quickest down the straight. Acceleration.
We did see cars yesterday kind of get the gap a little bit wrong, and down the back straight they were catching the person in front, and qualifying rules you can't overtake, so you catch yourself out and you leave yourself with a bit of disadvantage. You'll be so green in the delta, but you have to let it go. That's painful.
It's the thing you want. You do want to tow down that back straight. If you catch them too quick on a qualifying lap, as you say, you're going to have to back off, which is going to ruin your lap because you can't overtake during qualifying.
Yeah, I'm doing the maths
7
here.
tenths up.
7 tenths is going to land him like up into the top 5. Neil Mellon, who joined us in the commentary booth yesterday for the commentating of Group 1, is also 7 tenths off on his lap. That's going to take Phil up to 6. Up to 6. Yep. Gonna have a smile on his face about that. Up. There's only really maybe time to get 2 laps here. We've got Neil, who's on a lap at 7, 8 tenths up, but we also have Bruce Hopkins down in 15th, who's going to make a big jump if he cashes that lap in.
Neil's just invalidated his lap.
Oh, that is going to be... he's got maybe 1 more attempt after this.
It's such a shame. He'd stretched that to 1.1 seconds. Oh, he's got his sideways around there. He was really flying. Bruce is the second 1.1
coming to the line
up.
in the Bentley here.
He's just lost a little bit. That's such a tough last corner as well.
That's going to bring him up almost into the top 10. Almost into the top 10. If he can find a 10th, in his final lap or two here, he could land himself into the top 10 quite comfortably.
This is going to be an interesting last 2 minutes because both Steve and Chris in second and third are currently up on the deltas as well. 3/10
up at the front. Steve comes to the line. Martin takes it from Steve, and then Steve takes it back from Martin. They are really scrapping over this front line here. Who's going to have the inside into turn one? Chris Wilson is also, he's trying to get involved here. He brings this time in. He could find himself in the second position. Just needs to keep it tidy. 5/10. This is going to be enough if he can get a good run to the line. Going to be really close. He does. He takes it from him with 1/100th of a second. Take that.
That is close to the front.
Take that place. We've got Angelo Corello in the Porsche. He's coming down the back straight a 10th up. 5/10 up, sorry, 6. The Porsche has looked quite planted round here. It's really just its top speed on the back straight, which lets it down. But through the corners,
it's so good. Yeah, like so good for the bendy bit. Yeah. He's lost just a bit of time though.
A bit.
Paul Wallace behind him is pushing though. 8/10 up for Paul currently at the moment.
Oh, I do like the livery for this McLaren. This is one of the ones on the grid that is one of my favourites. Yeah. The colour contrast
very eye-catching. Yeah,
really nice.
He's a second up.
Got this sweeping left and the tight right-hander. Maximise the exit there. See his delta go up. That's going to get him fourth on the grid.
Cracking lap from Paul, he'll be pleased with that.
It looks like now the time is running out for people to get their laps in. It is going to be cash your lap in and see where it puts you time.
It's 1/2 a second up.
Starting to see some of our positions get locked in, but that doesn't mean they're for certain. It can still change here.
Oh, he's really pushing it.
He's really pushing it.
Keep it pinned to the line. Where's he going to put 1.3 seconds up?
Fourth.
4th. Cracking last lap
big
there.
Jump. It has been very competitive for them top 5 spaces today. Very competitive. We've got
Angelo's really pushing as well.
Angelo's pushing here, and so is Andrew McKillop. He's also pushing for a good time. We could see big jumps. Neil's pushing up 7/10 up. He's only in the beginning sector.
He must have just crossed that start-finish line just in time.
Literally just in time to get that lap going. See now Angelo, he's bled out a bit of time through his lap. It still could result in a 4-place, 5-place jump here. If he can get 3/10s, he could get that top 10 position.
I think he's just he's
come away from him a little bit. He's only going to need a little bit coming to the line. That's going to bring him up 4. It looks like Phil had invalidated his lap. It looks like everybody is cashed into their positions. That was a great qualifying session.
What a battle for the first 3 positions there.
Yeah, absolute brilliant driving from them. But bear in mind the changing conditions from the faster time.
Very tricky. If the temperature constantly changing. Not
Very
just the trying to get some rubber down on the track as well. We'll have got quicker towards the end. But yeah, some good laps there. But again, you saw people that were really up on their delta, just one little wheel too far over the line, and it's again so easily to pick up an off track here.
So easy to catch an off track, and it's very encouraging, the track, the way it's laid out to use absolutely all of the track. You don't want to be giving up exit speed on the back straight. You don't want to be giving up mid-corner speed in some of the long bendy corners in the back half.
Yeah, so easily to lose time. It's so easy to get it, those two long sweeping right-handers after the long straights, so easy to get all bent out of shape. And then time just bleeds away. So we've got our grid.
We have our grid. We are just waiting for the drivers to be placed onto their starting positions. And as soon as that happens, we'll get the live feedback to you. Until then, we're going to run through the starting grid. In first, we have Steve Howes, who with a 156.5. Second, we have Martin Bailey with a 156.5 also, but a 9. There was only 0.02 of a second separating first and second. Third, Chris Wilson. He'll be very happy with that. Fourth, Alex North. Fifth, Paul Wallace. Sixth, Chris Lockhart. 7, Neil Mellon. 8, Phil Giles. 9, Paul Murray. 10, Trevor Evans. Go on with me a second, guys. 11th, Glenn Parkinson's. 12th, Peter Martin. 13th, Brian Banks. 14th, Bruce Hopkins. 15th, Angelo Corello. 16th, Christian Sullivan. 17th, Anthony Flack. 18th, Andrew McKillop. 19th, Roger Dismukes. 20th, Simon Bushell. 21st, Gray Broadbent. 22nd, Conrad Payne. 23rd, Keith Moore. 24th, David Center. 25th, Ian Roke. And that is our full starting grid. We have got the cars in their starting positions here. We'll be waiting for them to be given the green flag and permission to start getting around the track and bringing up the tyre pressures.
Yeah, so
brake
a full
pressures.
formation lap. It's gonna be tricky as well because I got my tyres up to temperature quite pressures up quite quickly, and then suddenly realised these are gonna get over pressured as the heat rises with the multiplier set to what it is.
20 seconds.
So I kind of backed off a little. So you got these little things are going to be going through the drivers' minds at the moment. Have they made the right choice with the tyre pressures?
10 seconds.
You hear that, guys? Jim's actually being useful. He's giving us a 10 seconds, a 20-second countdown. I didn't know he did that. We get ready here. We're going to see them start to break off from their positions. And we're off onto the formation lap now.
So obviously Steve's out on pole leading the cars around. He was saying in chat that he gets a bit nervous. He hasn't shown any sign of nerves so far with nailing that pole position. So well done on him if he's feeling a bit on the nervous side. Hopefully by the time they get round to the end of this full formation lap, those nerves will have settled and we can have a cleaner start, shall we say, than what the Group 1 boys managed last night.
We can see here as well, there's a bit of a different vibe here than last night with the Group 2 boys. The Group 2 boys don't seem to be quite playing the mental game, shall we say, of filling each other's mirrors and being side by side. They all kind of are being quite polite to each other, giving us space. There doesn't seem to be any hustle or bustle amongst the pack as we start to see them now making their way onto the back straight. They'll start weaving side to side, pumping the brakes.
It's a long lap.
It's a long formation
lap. I mean, once that light goes green, though, those first 3-4 corners are really tight for a pack to drive through. So, and with the raised curbs on the right-hand side as you go around turn 2, can cause for a bit of cars going wide, getting out of shape a bit. So it is.
I'm sure
that's a tricky start.
That is something that the McLaren driver Chris Wilson is going to be very aware of going into that first corner. He's going to want to not take too much, upset the car, or have to really give off that throttle, because he's going to have 23 cars behind him that are desperate to make up their places at the beginning of the race. See them now. We'll have a look where the leader of the pack is. They've just made the sweeping right-hander. So a few more corners and we'll start to see them bunch up into their positions.
So where they're going round now, when they're at full chat, it's so easy to miss those 3 track markers and get back onto the track without getting a warning. So easily done.
But you also want to bring it back onto the track and set yourself up very nicely for the double apex right-handers. We can see the cars now start to slow down. They'll be abiding by their on-screen deltas.
Yeah,
where
sure
they should
be
be.
Position.
Nobody wants to pick up a early race penalty. That is very easy to do. Now we've just got the sweeping left and then the tight right. A little run down the straight.
This last right-hander is also, it's not an overtaking point really. People think it is, but it's so tight. But there they want to start, finish straight. Everyone getting into position. Make sure they're in the right space, not too far behind the car in front.
Going to be interested to see that pack of 4 McLarens as we go green.
They're off.
A little touch.
A little nudge from the 2 McLarens as they head down towards turn 1. This is a challenging first corner. It's nice and tight. Not the easiest corner in the world.
Oh, it looks like Chris Wilson he missed his braking point by the looks of it. That was a big hit.
It was a big
down
hit.
Into the hustle and bustle.
We've got 5 McLarens here.
All going. The pink and blue McLaren is trying to find the space there on the inside as they all come around.
Paul just drive down the inside of the McLaren there, just touching doors, but it doesn't look like it was too bad. As you turn left onto the long straight now, one of the McLaren's running wide.
Very wide. That's definitely going to be a little bit of track limits there, whether they picked up a warning for that really early or not. You see Chris Lockhart now, he's got the speed on Chris after the accident.
It's going to make him go around the outside though.
Make him work for it.
Nice trainer cars, all starting to just bunch up again towards the back end of the straight as the McLaren sideways.
That is the McLaren of Alex North. He's had a bit of an incident.
Too much. Tyres not just quite up to temperature, throwing it in, taking too much speed into that right-hander.
You see a bit of, it's all still quite bunched up here. It's got a few battles emerging on track. We've got Paul Murray, Angelo Corello and Chris Wilson here. Chris is carrying that big damage. We'll more than likely see him come into the pits to get that taken care of.
Brown's looking over the back of the Porsche. Porsche is not going to be the quickest in a straight line. Is he going to be able to do anything before T1?
He's decided to stay out, so he's going to be under attack for sure from that Porsche Corello soon. Carrying a lot of damage. Maybe
It doesn't look too battered though. Just trying to think what sort of damage he was holding. It doesn't look too smashed up, to be fair.
Porsche having a look down the inside to see whether Chris would let him have it.
If he could just stick in the right place behind that Porsche, set himself up for the long straight, he should make easy pickings as long as he's, as you say, he's not carrying too much damage.
Christian Sullivan also in the Audi, who's going to have a good draft on Peter Martin down this back straight.
Yeah, he's already in the suck zone. He's looking to the left.
Did he move out too soon? It looks like he might get it done by the end.
Get that done nice and easy, to be fair. Farah moves back in behind, tucks in behind.
It's going to be interesting to see how much damage the leader has picked up from the incident at the start with Chris. Whether we'll see...
Oh, he's lost it again.
Alex has lost it. Falling down the pack. It looked like the Aston did make a good move out the way there as the camera changed.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he got through because there was no flags popping up on the screen.
On board with Chris Lockhart up into the top 4, as we see there's still quite a fight going on for third position here. The Ferrari trying to hold back the McLaren.
If Chris can keep his McLaren nice and close within that half a second as they get to the straight, it will be very interesting to see what the result is down back straight with that slipstream, because we know how fast that Ferrari was down the straight in qualifying.
Yeah, we did get the highest speed from the Ferrari in quali.
So he's in perfect at the moment, under 0.5 of a second. He's just, if he can keep that, he's going to be in very, very good shape.
He's going to want to stay as close as he can through here.
It's a good exit. He's lost just a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's still under a second, so this will be interesting to see if he can make any gains on him. Doesn't look like he's going to.
We do have Paul Murray has made up the place on Chris Wilson down the back straight here. So
yeah, McLaren overtaking McLaren.
McLaren of Chris Wilson is definitely suffering down the back straight, getting eaten up by the competitors.
Looks like there's a big battle going on for 18th, 19th and 20th as well. Just looking at the table.
Hey, look, they are 3 wide here. 2 wide, the BMW backs out of it, which is probably a smart choice. They're now sweeping round. Seem to have sorted it out between themselves coming out of there. Don't really see cars going 3 wide into that sweeping right. There is only really enough for 2. We've got
definitely not enough room.
Bruce
3
Hopkins
cars
as well, a few cars ahead. Chasing down the very small looking Aston Martin. The 2 cars compared to each other, absolutely different machines. Still very capable of similar lap times though.
The size of the McLaren compared to the Bentley.
Yeah, you've got the downforce based small low to the ground McLaren, and then you've got, some people call it the Boatley. I can see why.
It is absolutely massive compared to the McLaren. What sort of wing is he running to see how much top speed he's going to get down that long straight?
Chris Lockhart's positioned himself way better this time for the draft than the Ferrari coming down the back. The Ferrari moves to the inside to get defensive. It doesn't look like the McLaren has the pull to bring in, but it's bringing in the Porsche of Phil Giles up ahead as well.
Yeah, see, the Ferrari had the toe as well as he's going to make a move down the inside. Look for it, but he's covered off.
Oh, the McLaren right on the back of him. Yeah, lovely aerial shot here. We can really see what's going on between these 3 drivers. Or 4. As they're starting the battle, you can see the drivers behind them 5th and 6th place now getting involved. If this goes on too long, you'll start to see 7th, 8th, and then there's a battle going on for 8th. You'll see a lot of cars start to train up here.
This is going to get spicy. This is where the Porsche is going to be at its best right out the bendy bits. But if the Ferrari and the McLarens can stay close, it's going to get very, very interesting down that straight again. Coming down to T1 is an important braking zone. You don't want to run wide. You want to make sure you hit that apex to set yourself up for turn 2. There's that raised bit of curve there, can get very tricky, but they all ride that nicely.
You can see the McLaren just hunting him down behind. They come into the braking zones. Behind that, and some more McLarens, and the Porsche of Angelo Corello, as this is starting to back up the pack now.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting shot from the helicopter. As they hit the back straight, I think they're going to be close enough, but the Porsche behind the McLaren is gaining. He's in the slipstream. He's 0.2 seconds behind Paul Wallace's McLaren now. Of course, he's just out of shot.
Just as they get into frame.
Makes the move round the outside. Got the legs on the McLaren, so that's all done through the slipstream.
That is impressive from the Porsche. It's not known for its top speed, but it looks like the McLarens today are really suffering with that top end pull.
It's gone a bit wide in the McLaren. Yeah, a bit squiggly. So this is where it's going to get interesting now. So we're 10 minutes into the race with the multiplier, time multiplier on what it's set to. The temperatures are going to start to change. It's going to start to be getting hot now. So those tyres are going to start to be overinflated from the ideal pressure. So they're going to get a bit looser. They're going to feel a bit more greasy. That double right-hander at the end of the long straight is going to be a little bit more scary as they cross the start-finish line. Still battling. I just can't get close enough to the Porsche to make a move. But McLaren now, Chris is really close to Martin's Ferrari again. This is where he needs to be as they hit the back straight. He needs to be in this 0.3 zone. If he's going to stand a chance, because that Ferrari is so quick, and he might just be out of distance to get the toe off the Porsche this time round. But Steve Howe's doing a lovely job out in front, so he's still 2.5 seconds out in front of the Porsche, but McLaren is with 0.3 of a second behind the Ferrari. He's in the slipstream. He's gaining on him this time. He's getting sucked along. He's going to get.
See the KPH climbing.
To make a move.
They might be side by side as they make the corner. The Ferrari putting it in the middle. Chris has got free choice of where he wants to go.
He's gone to the inside. Is he going to be brave enough? He's held it. Well done. Cracking move.
Cracking move from Chris to take 3rd place, a podium spot from Martin Bailey there. He's already made quite a bit of gap.
3 to 4 laps to set that up to be close enough down that back straight, which is the best place to make a move, as we know. But he's really gaining on the Ferrari there. He's got some momentum going. That confidence has kicked in. So it'd be interesting to see what the Ferrari can pull.
Yeah.
Over the McLaren, going down that back straight again. So Chris's McLaren is very close to Phil's Porsche right now.
Up 3 positions already and on the hunt for the 2nd spot on the podium.
Yeah, he's on the move.
If he stays through with this beginning sector, will he be able to make it happen on the back straight? We do have Chris Wilson defending for his life in the damaged McLaren. He's fallen down quite a bit, but he seems to be handling the damage okay. Now got the other McLaren and Bentley backing up behind him.
That McLaren is looking battered now as he's got the other McLaren in the belly all over the rear spoiler. He's going to see them. He's not going to be looking forward to this drag race down that long straight. And McLaren is going to be losing top end speed with that front end damage that we can see.
We'll be able to get a little bit of an idea of how much damage he's carrying here. So we're at 1.3, 1 second as they hit the straight. So we'll be able to see just how much the Peter Martin will be able to reel him in just from pace alone. He's already eating out temps here. It looks like Chris is definitely losing a lot of top speed down here.
This is going to be interesting. The Bentley goes to the inside, the McLaren goes to the outside.
The McLaren thinks better of it.
But the Bentley's not going to make it stick. Well done from Chris there. Being brave, hit his line as the BMW in front of him runs wide.
We still have a very interesting battle at the front of the field here. Chris is still sniffing the bumper of that Porsche, trying to get that position. And the longer these guys fight, the more Steve will be happy.
Yeah, Steve will want to see these deltas, the two cars close together. He can just edge it away. Is he looking down the inside of T1?
Oh, as they touch, they've gone around the Ferrari. Getting through cleanly by the looks of it. It looks like Bill's made it through.
People have been happy to see that than Martin. Both the Porsche and the McLaren got taken out. The brave move to go down the inside of T1. It's not an easy braking zone. It's quite a sharp turn as well, and you need to get it right. He just overcooked it and took the pair of them out. So then Ferrari's going to see if he can stretch his legs now. And he's got
1.3 seconds in front of him and 1.3 seconds behind him to close in. He's got a little bit of work to do. We've got Simon Bushell, who's trying to make a move on Conrad in the Honda, in the Aston. He's carrying a little bit of damage, but he is just fallen out of the slipstream zone as they've entered the back straight. Trevor Evans at the top of the straight, having a look at the McLaren of Paul Wallace.
Paul run wide, but he's just brought it back in just in time. Is he going to be able to keep it nice and pinned around this tricky long right-hander? Done it well for that.
Mercedes does look like it is absolutely planted through that corner.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't look like he's struggling with any understeer or the big heavy engine up front of the Mercedes. Could have a look right now, guys, at where everybody is to where they started. So Steve Houser's ran off from the start of the race. Bill Giles is up 6 positions. He'll be absolutely really happy with that. We've got Simon Bushell having a look on Conrad here again. Both going a little wide.
Both tried to keep it within the track limits there. The Honda didn't quite make it. The Aston Martin had to back out just a little.
See at the top, the Porsche of Angelo Corello up 11 places. He's going to have a big smile on his face at the end of the race if that stays the way it is. Yeah, Paul Murray 4 places up. Christian Sullivan 7 places up. Come now on to Bruce Hopkins and this little pack here that's fighting. They're trying to get through here nice and clean.
So is the Bentley close enough to the McLaren this time? He's in his slipstream. He's already gaining. He's going to just slip to the inside. Should make this pass nice and easy.
Nice and easy.
McLaren's not even going to attempt it. He's just blown past him. Too much damage on that McLaren.
Further up the road, you've got the Mercedes trying to look on the inside of the McLaren. It looks like that's unnerved Paul as they've turned in, and Paul has not turned in time. It's quite a really threatening move when somebody puts it up the inside there at 280 Ks.
We are halfway through. Keep
And that's a thunderous sound coming towards you with that McLaren, that Mercedes. So Peter Martin challenging Chris's battered McLaren. Can he get close enough? The tyres are going to be a bit hot still at the moment. 17 minutes left. But now we're getting, as the time goes on, the temperature is going to start to drop with that multiplier set to what it is. So the race should finish just as it goes dark. So the temperature is going to start to drop away for this second half of the race.
Chris Lockhart trying to get up into the top 5 on Paul Murray. They come through the first 2 corners. They want to stay as close as he can. Might see a McLaren versus McLaren drag race down the straight.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
I don't know if you've noticed, but you see that Bill Giles is starting to reel in Steve at the front. I
just saw that. Only a second. Has Steve made a bit of a mistake, or has Bill just got that hammer absolutely down?
You can already see the McLaren reeling him in.
He's in the slipstream. 0.4, 0.3. Is he going to have enough room to make a move at the end of the straight? Paul's just starting to cover it off. He slips to the inside. It's not going to make this easy for him. Well
really
done,
put his elbows out.
Yeah.
Really put his elbows out and let him at that corner. Was
brave from the both of them though. Defending as much as you dare, but still giving yourself enough room to make that corner. But Chris made it stick. So fair play to the pair of them.
Bruce Hopkins now in the Bentley, now trying to look at gaining a position on the Audi in front of him and Christian Sullivan.
Yeah, he's lost just a little bit of time there, but he's pulled it back quick because he ran that corner there. Made up 3/10 around that corner.
Looks like Steve Howes has put a little bit of his foot down now. He's now just done a 57.3, which is 3/10 off his best.
Yeah, I feel that he must have made a mistake, I think. Got a little bit squiggly somewhere, I would have said. Audi opens its legs up down the straight.
Such a rocket ship out of corners.
Yeah, it really is. So Bruce is really going to have to get this first sector completely nailed to be in the right amount of toe to get anywhere near the Audi going down the back straight.
He is closing it though. He's planning the attack.
These 2 corners to be bang on. This is a tricky right-hander. Now, flooring it, he's close enough. It's a great sector from Bruce there.
Great sector.
He's in the slipstream of the Audi. 0.2, he's gaining. Oh, did he look a little bit early there? Has he thrown the dummy by Christian? But he's still gaining. Is there going to be enough track for him to make a move? He's looking to the inside.
The Audi is just, it's so fast.
It's so fast.
So fast.
It's made it stick. Oh, a bit squiggly. Pair of a bit squiggly. But they've made it stick.
Looks like the Audi might have got out there just a little bit on the marbles where the grip just isn't there. We do have a fight going on between Roger and Simon here down the back straight. There's a little group of cars here. In Simon, well, we got Roger, Simon, Ian, and Brian here. They're having a good old scrap at the back of the pack. It looks like the Aston is carrying a little bit of damage.
It is carrying quite a bit of damage. He's really struggling around those corners.
Ian puts it past the Aston.
There's 3 cars getting involved. Can we take it back up to the helicopter shot? This is going to be
we can indeed.
Interesting. There's 3 cars getting involved here now. There we go. So Roger's leading. He's got enough room on this pack of 3 at the moment.
Oh, what if the Aston was trying to come into the pits there? I don't think he could have.
No, I don't think he could have either.
With the car behind him and the BMW, he might have had to abort his pit stop there and have to bring her around again. I don't see how he could have slowed her down right there.
No, but the overtake was too easy, so he's really struggling in that Aston.
Really struggling with the damage. We'll have a look up the front, and we do have the front runners here all starting to bunch together as they come to the end of the straight. The big sweeping double right-hander. They'll be just able to see each other. The Ferrari got a great view of the Porsche, but the Porsche will be interested in the view he can have of that BMW.
The Ferrari is really making gains on that Porsche now. It does feel like Phil has set that Porsche up with really little wing, because it's not looking as grippy round the bendy part of the tracks as a Porsche normally would, but he's not really that slow down the straight either, so I would say he's running on really minimal wing as well. It's a brave setup, but it's paying off because he's driving the wheels off of that Porsche.
Yeah, up 6 positions. Yeah, and Angelo is up a lot of positions with where
it's
he
not
is
often you see 2 Porsches in the top 4 positions at Paul Ricard at the moment. It will be interesting to see what the Ferrari gains on this Porsche. The Porsche is not going to be in the tow of the BMW. So how quick is that Ferrari down the back straight compared to that Porsche? Already pushing towards 250k, not even halfway down the straight.
Do have Peter Martin having a good little battle with Christian Sullivan.
Christians, yeah.
I am keeping an eye on the delta of the Porsche and the Ferrari in the top. It doesn't look like it's closing a lot down the back straight. It's amazing if Phil's managed to get Ferrari speed out of the Porsche. But
I think Phil has taken the wing off of the Porsche. I really do, because he's not losing any speed, any time on the delta to the Ferrari, and that Ferrari is rapid. Oh, he's looking around the outside of the Audi. This is such a difficult part of the track to overtake on, but
you really need somebody who's going to play ball with you if you're going to attempt an overtake in that double apex.
You can go down the inside here, but you've got to be brave, you've got to be close enough. Right hander, then down to this left hander where you're hard on the brakes, second gear to corner. This is, if you don't get the braking zone right, you can get all bent out of shape. You don't want to dive down the inside in the last corner. Easy enough in that it's 0.78 per second. So that Audi's so quick out the corners.
Do you still have a bit of the train going on down in 18th? Got Brian now, who's having a look at the back of the BMW of Ian Roke, trying to make up a few positions here as they enter into the last 8-9 minutes left. So every position will count now. A lot harder to get them back.
Rogers entered the pits.
Yeah, it looks like Rogers brought her in, whether that's with some damage or whether that is with... Oh, sorry guys, I was trying to find him and he's dropping down so fast. It looks like it could be...
It's got to be damaged. It
doesn't look damaged.
It doesn't look damaged,
might be a penalty. He might have been a naughty boy and gone track limits.
So easy to do. So easy to do.
Got Trevor Evans here in the Mercedes, who's still trying to eat through this pack of McLarens. Car looks very well set up today. He's made up of 3 positions from his starting positions.
Yeah, the only Mercedes in the race as well. Cracking livery, I do like that. gaining again on the McLaren around the bendier part of the track. Now can he set himself up for a move down the start finish straight and into turn one? Is he going to be close enough? I don't think he's going to be close enough.
It does look like Brian Banks made it past Ian Roke, making up that position. Got Peter Martin up down back a few cars in the bright orange McLaren, trying to make a position on Christian Sullivan here.
Yeah. Just lost a little bit time down the straight as it go around turn two. Again, this Audi so quick out of the corners. He needs to try and set himself up for a nice long run in the slipstream. The only place you're gonna catch the Audi, because the Audi's gonna be quicker out the turn onto the straight. So he's in the right position at the moment, 0.3 of a second. He can stay in them limits. It's a great exit. The 0.3 of a second now, just needs to stick in that slipstream. Is he going to get...
See the Audi even gaining a tenth there.
Way a bit, yeah.
We are having a little bit of a battle up to the beginning of the pack, with Chris trying to make up a late position on Angelo. Angelo is not going to want to give up that fourth space after being up so many. These top ones are the ones that count.
And the Porsche, he's got these Porsches set up really well. Albeit he's gained a few tenths going into the last corner. It's going to be interesting, this drag race over the start-finish line.
Got Peter Sullivan trying to make the position on Christian still.
Christian, yeah.
Couldn't get it done down the straight, was too much. It looks like he tried to maybe get on the inside of him there as they come down the straight.
He's in the slipstream down the start-finish straight now. Moves can be made down T1, but as we saw earlier between the McLaren and the Porsche, it's so easy to get it wrong and ruin a race, but he sticks behind him.
I'm just seeing Paul Murray and Trevor Evans swapping places there. It looks like he's trying to get it done on the McLaren. Looks like he's made it stick.
Yeah.
He'll be happy with that. He's got one more McLaren in front of him to get past, and he'd have been through the whole pack of McLarens. So now we get the two entering the back straight again.
Yes.
0.3.
Now, he's closer than he was last time. Into that bumper, can he get the drag down this straight?
The Audi just looks so fast. So fast. We have got Bruce Hopkins also in the Bentley. He's trying to get through the pack of McLarens that Trevor Evans has been making his way through.
Yeah, he's going to make a move down the inside. He's made it stick.
Up into 8th place. He's got 3.5 minutes to he's got 5-2 gap to the next McLaren. I think that will be his finishing position if he can keep it where it is.
It's a great overtaking maneuver. It's so tricky to overtake on that long right hander. It's so easy to get the car all out of shape. So he's done really well to make a move there.
We've got Chris Wilson being aggressive, even carrying the damage. He's trying to. We see the Aston
Martin's gone wide.
Big slide.
He dives down the inside.
He's going to have to go deep into the corner. This is going to be a drag race. And with the damage that Chris is carrying, he's got the inside though.
Just pulling in front of the McLaren, so that damage is really, really showing. But it was great driving pair of going into last corner side by side's not an easy thing to do.
Not an easy
Great
thing
driving
at
from the
all.
pair of them.
It does look like Chris has got the move done on Angelo while we were watching that drag race down the home straight. But the Porsche
having a go
fighting back.
Chris has gone to the inside. Has he got the legs on the McLaren? He's pulling in front of the McLaren.
It's going to be really tight as they go into it. Oh, they touch. They both keep it.
Really well held from
well
the pair
held
of them.
from both of them.
Great recovery.
I really want to see it in that corner, but it's always an inevitability. If you go side by side in them corners, that is a possibility. The inside driver has to leave enough room on the outside. The outside driver has to leave enough room on the inside. At 280 Ks.
But here comes the Mercedes. With Trevor's Mercedes. As the McLaren gets bent out of shape.
I'm just trying to get.
Is he going to throw himself into the mix for the last lap of the race? We've got a bit of a 5 car. Oh, that's a back mark.
We've actually got
train going on.
A battle for the lead.
It's challenge for the lead on the last lap.
Or we might get another lap, depending on how quick these boys can get around. We might be in for a last lap showdown between Steve and Phil.
I think I did hear him say the lead was on the last lap. So this is interesting because he's right in position. He's got a little bit wide on the right hand and I just lost a few tenths. Is that going to pay dividends down the straight? Because is he in the zone to get a gain?
It doesn't look like he will be.
It doesn't look like it.
Behind him, entering the straight, we do have Chris, who's going to want to try and draft the Audi. It looks like he's fallen out of the area. There's a fair bit of work to do for a few cars here after they leave the straight.
But the Porsche is back in the tow of the BMW up front. He's lost it a little bit again, though.
They come into the double right-hander. This might have been a lot of pressure for Phil to try and make this happen in the last lap of the race. It's very difficult.
He's done just enough by the looks of things. He just wants to keep it nice and tight now, make sure he hits the apexes on these corners, and he'll take it over the line for the win. But what a catch up there from Phil to put himself in a shot on the last lap.
It really did look like Steve was in a league of his own today.
Yeah. To a great win for Steve as he crosses the line, taking P1 with Phil Giles in the Porsche, only 1.5 seconds behind him. Martin Bailey in the Ferrari takes 3rd place, so that's your podium. But look how close 4th, 5th and 6th, 7th are here.
See them all come through the line.
Yeah.
That brings Angelo Corello in for 4th, Chris Lockhart in for 5th, Paul Murray in for 6th, Trevor Evans for 7th, Bruce Hopkins for 8th.
That was great racing.
Paul Wallace for 9th, Peter Martin 10th, Anthony Flack brings it across the line for 11th, Chris Wilson, after the drama he had at the start and the damage, bringing it home for P12 is not a bad result.
Really good drive, and even trying to challenge for position there as well.
Gary Broadbent bringing it home in 13th. Brian Banks and Conrad Payne bringing it to the line for 14th and 15th. Behind them, we've got Keith Moore and Ian Roke. These guys have been battling most of the race for their positions here as they come over the line for 16th and 17th. Andrew turning the last corner in the Wacky Racing 720 McLaren for 18th. And that just leaves Roger Dismukes coming around some corners to bring her over the line, and that will be our finishing order, folks.
What a great race. That was Group 2 really turning on the style again, just like they did last week at Brands Hatch. Some really good battles, but again, really safe, conscious racecraft going on. So well done to the Group 2 boys. Really could put on a good show again.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was interesting to see how the Steve ran away at the start, and as the time progressed and the temperatures changed, Bill and Martin were able to reel him back in, and it was really quite a close battle for them top 5 positions overall.
It was, and if you speak to a lot of people, Paul Ricard is not on their, anywhere near the top 5 of their favourite tracks. But next week is probably some people's least favourite track. It's a very Marmite track on the calendar. Next week we're at Bathurst. So Monday for the Group 1 and Tuesday for Group 2. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. It's going to be a challenge. But also, before we just sign off, I want to just say good luck to the SIMSeniors endurance team racing this Sunday in the 6 hours of Brands Hatch. We've got 6 two-man teams racing, so it's a great entry list from the SIMSeniors endurance team. So it's going to be really, really interesting as well. So we've got that coming up on Sunday. A few of the drivers will be streaming their races as well. And then Monday and Tuesday, we've got the legendary Bathurst. So I'm excited.
I'm excited. It's going to be a really good time. I'm gutted I won't be driving at Bathurst. That is definitely my favourite track. Definitely one of mine. I wish every team that has entered for the 6 hours of Brands Hatch this weekend the best of luck. If anybody does want to catch that, if you're in the SIMSeniors Discord, I'm sure there'll be plenty of links under the stream link, so you'll be able to catch the action live along with your co-racers. And until next Monday, Craig, I believe that is us.
That's
well, actually, Tuesday. I will see you on Tuesday, and I'll be joined by the wonderful Neil Mellon for Monday, Group 1.
As always, mate, absolute pleasure, and I will be looking forward to doing this again on Tuesday. Take care, mate.
Take care, mate, and see you all next time.